Hey, it's Coach Kisha here, certified holistic nutrition weight loss coach, and welcome back to Weight Talk Thursdays, where we keep it heart centered, hormone friendly, and real life approved for women over 40. Today's topic is one that every woman I coach asks about at some point. About food cravings, why they hit so hard, why they seem impossible to resist, and why they get even worse during perimenopause and menopause. And let's be real, it's not just about willpower. There's a science behind cravings, especially for women navigating hormone changes, stress, and weight loss medications like GLP-1s. So, in this episode today, we're going to talk and you're going to learn why food cravings get worse during perimenopause and menopause, discover the difference between emotional and physical food cravings, get 5 simple fresh start strategies to manage cravings without dieting or deprivation. And you'll also understand how GLP-1 weight loss medications affect hunger and fullness signals. So, if you're watching live, drop a live in the chat. Or if you're catching the replay, type replay and tell me what's your number one craving food. So, let's talk about what's keeping you stuck. Most women I work with believe that cravings mean they're failing, that they're not strong or have no willpower, or that they'll never get control over food. But here's the truth: cravings are not a character flaw, they're a signal from your body. Sometimes that signal is physical, and sometimes it's emotional. And if you're over 40, your hormones are often a big player in the game than you think. During menopause and perimenopause, fluctuations in estrogen, progesterone, and cortisol can make many changes. They can increase your appetite, intensify cravings for high fat and high sugar foods. They can disrupt fullness signals. So, if you've ever said, I never craved sweets before, but now I can't stop thinking about chocolate, you're not imagining it. Your body chemistry is literally shifting. And let's do some real talk. I'll be honest, there was a point in my weight loss journey where I felt like my cravings were running the show. When I was working night shifts, I craved salty chips at 2 a.m. and sweet coffee drinks by morning. And when menopause started knocking on my door, I suddenly wanted bread and pasta like never before. I thought I was doing something wrong, but what I learned is that my body was trying to self soothe and self regulate and compensate for all the hormone changes that were going on. So once I understood what was happening, I could stop fighting cravings and start managing them in a way that worked for me. And that's what I want for you too. So let's see if we can tell the difference, between emotional and physical cravings. One of the biggest breakthroughs for my clients is learning the difference between emotional and physical hunger. And here's how to tell the difference. Your physical hunger, it comes on gradually. You can eat a variety of foods to satisfy physical hunger, and it stops when you're full. And usually it's tied to time since your last meal. Emotional hunger, it comes on suddenly and it feels urgent. You crave very specific comfort foods, and it doesn't go away when you're full. And it has triggers, triggered by stress, boredom, loneliness, or fatigue. And a fresh tip that I want to give you is, the next time a craving hits, pause and ask yourself, is this coming from my stomach or is this coming from my emotions? And this awareness is one of the first steps of you taking control of your cravings. Now, GLP-1 weight loss medications and cravings are a little bit different. For my clients using the GLP-1 weight loss medicines like semaglutide or tirzepatide or Ozempic or Wegovy or Zepbound, cravings often change, but they don't always disappear. The GLP-1 medications, they slow our digestive system down and increase feelings of fullness, which can help reduce appetite and help us lose weight. But here's the thing, if your cravings are emotional, the medication won't make the cravings go away. In fact, I've had clients say that they often, even though they physically don't feel hungry or they feel full, they still want certain foods just out of habit or emotional triggers. And that's why mindset and habit work, like what I teach in the Fresh Start program and what I teach in my book, The Wait is Over, it's so critical to get our mindset in order. So, here are 5 practical strategies that I want to give to you that I teach my clients to help them manage the cravings without strict dieting or, deprivation. Number one, we're going to fuel with protein and fiber. And that means, start your meal with protein and fiber, and this will help keep blood sugar stable. And once the blood sugar is stable, hunger decreases as well. And a fresh tip is, think about eggs and spinach, chicken and roasted vegetables, or Greek yogurt and berries, those combinations to help with fullness. Number two, we're going to hydrate first. Dehydration, as many of us have heard, can often mimic hunger. And a fresh tip that I always give is drink a glass of water and wait 10 minutes. And often you find that your cravings will fade. Number three, fresh tip is, create a craving delay. And that means to set a timer for 15 minutes before giving in to that craving. And you can use this to take a short, time to, walk or stretch or do journal or some deep breathing to kind of deep dive into why you are having this craving before you give in. Number four, find your instead foods. Identify swaps that you actually enjoy. And the fresh tip here is if you crave sweets, try frozen grapes or get a nice dark chocolate that you like and enjoy. And often that will help. Number five, address the root cause. So, if stress is a cause, manage the stress. If you find that it's fatigue, focus on more sleep and rest. And if it's your hormones, support them with nutrition, movement, and mindset. So, how can I or Ample, how can we help you with this? Here are, these strategies are just a starting point that we just talked about. But inside the Fresh Start program, we go deeper with weekly habit coaching, mindset rewiring tools, hormone friendly meal strategies, real life craving management plans. And if you want to finally get off the cravings roller coaster, you can grab a copy of my book, The Wait is Over. I'm going to put it over here. Or you can join the Fresh Start workshop or even start with one of our holistic weight loss programs. And I'll walk you through step by step either program or book that you may choose. And the links for these offerings will be in the program's description today. So today we covered a lot. So let's do a quick recap. Cravings get stronger during perimenopause and menopause due to hormone changes. Emotional cravings, they're very different from physical cravings, and each one needs their own solution. GLP-1 weight loss medications can help with appetite, but not emotional triggers. And you can manage cravings with 5 simple fresh start strategies that we talked about today. Now, I want you to drop in the comments what's your go to craving food and which strategy you will try first of next week. And if this episode helped you in any way, please share it with a sister friend who's struggling with cravings too. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another Weight Talk Thursdays. Well, that's all I have for this episode today. This has been Coach Keisha with Weight Talk Thursdays, where we try our best to do weight loss differently for women over 40. Your health isn't about perfection, it's about progress, presence, and persistence. See you next Thursday, same time, same place. And until then, I need you to stay consistent and take care of you. Bye.